One fall after 50 can steal independence forever, turning a simple misstep into months of pain, hospital stays, or even death. The body often gives no warning. Muscles weaken, balance fades, and reaction time slows in silence. By the time the fall happens, it is too late to prepare, and what was once a safe walk across the room can become a fight for survival. Even after years of decline, the body can be trained to recover strength and steadiness. Research in both Japan and the United States shows that simple daily movements restore balance, rebuild muscle, and cut the risk of dangerous falls. These are ordinary actions, done in kitchens, gardens, and living rooms, that need no equipment, only a few minutes each day, yet they can give back the confidence to move safely again. If you miss what comes next, you may never learn the two movements that could mean the difference between staying on your feet and suffering a devastating fall. Without them, every other exercise loses much of its power, leaving the body exposed to silent decline. With them, you build the foundation that can keep you alive, steady, and independent for years longer. I am Dr. Suzuki Sato, a Japanese physical therapist. For more than a century, I have watched how elders thrive when these simple habits are honored, and how quickly decline arrives when they are ignored. Have you noticed your legs trembling as you stand, or your balance wavering on uneven ground? Share your experience in the comments. It may help another person recognize their own story. Today, we begin a journey together. We will uncover why the body grows unsteady after 50, how 6 daily movements practiced by Japanese elders protect strength, and how you can adapt them safely to your own home. When people talk about getting older, they often blame weakness and balance problems on age alone. It sounds simple. I'm just old, so of course I can't move like I used to. But the truth is much more hopeful. What slips away after 50 is not only the number of years behind us, it is the signals between our muscles, joints, and brain that grow quieter when we stop using them. This is why someone who keeps moving daily can feel steady well into their 80s, while another who stops practicing simple movements can begin to struggle in their 60s. Think of your body as a garden. When it is watered and tended to, plants stay strong and flexible. When it is left alone, weeds creep in and the soil hardens. Our muscles and joints respond in the same way. If we bend, stretch, and balance each day, those pathways stay open. If we avoid them, stiffness and weakness settle in quietly. Science confirms what tradition has shown for generations. In Japan, elders who practice short morning routines like radio calisthenics often keep their mobility longer than peers who stay inactive. American studies show the same pattern. Even a few minutes of movement each day is enough to protect balance and prevent dangerous falls. You may not feel the difference tomorrow, but over weeks and months, the body begins to trust itself again. Let me ask you gently, have you noticed that standing up from a chair feels heavier than it did 10 years ago? Or that walking across uneven ground requires more attention than before? If so, you are not alone. These small changes are signs that the body is asking for daily practice, not signs that it is giving up. Share in the comments if you've had this experience. Your note may reassure someone else who feels the same. One reason this problem is misunderstood is that many people believe walking is enough. Walking is wonderful for circulation and mood, but it is not the full answer for independence. Walking does not teach you how to rise from a chair, reach into a cupboard, or recover from a stumble. These are different skills, and they need their own training. Without them, walking alone can create a false sense of security. Here is a detail many overlook. The fastest muscle fibers, the ones that react in a split second to keep you from falling, begin to shrink after midlife if they are not challenged. These fibers are not used much during slow walking. They need short, specific movements to stay alive. That is why the 6 daily movements we are moving toward are so valuable. They keep those fast fibers awake.
Another piece of the puzzle is the ankle. The ankles are like the hinges of a door. When they are stiff, the whole structure moves awkwardly. When they are loose and strong, balance becomes natural. Many older adults focus on their knees or hips, but research shows weak ankles are one of the strongest predictors of falls. The good news is that ankles respond quickly to gentle training. You may want to hear this twice. Decline after 50 is not written in stone. Much of it is learned by the body, and what is learned can be relearned. That means every day is a chance to rebuild steadiness. The key is to change how we think. Instead of seeing movement as optional exercise, we can see it as daily maintenance, like brushing teeth or preparing a meal. Small steps matter more than long workouts. That shift in thinking is what allows Japanese elders to stay consistent even into their 90s. We have now uncovered the real problem. It is not age itself, but silence between the brain, muscles, and joints that comes from lack of daily practice. And because silence can be broken, this is a problem we can solve. Many people believe that if they just start exercising, the problem will be fixed. But for movement to work, the body first needs a foundation. Without it, even the best routine can feel uncomfortable or even risky. Think of it like building a house on soft ground. You can stack the bricks, but if the soil is not prepared, the house leans and cracks. Our bodies are no different. The foundation comes from two simple things: joints that are ready to move, and a mind that feels calm enough to let the body move with confidence. The first barrier is stiffness. When we spend much of the day sitting, the ankles, hips, and chest tighten. Stiff ankles make walking unsteady, tight hips make standing up harder, and a closed chest makes breathing shallow. All of these together make us feel fragile. The second barrier is fear. If you have ever worried about losing balance while moving, your body may tense up automatically. That tension makes you even less steady. It is a cycle, but it can be broken. Japanese therapists often begin with very small, gentle warm-ups, rolling the ankles in circles, opening the chest with arm movements, or simply standing and breathing deeply. These steps may look simple, but they are not wasted time. Research shows that older adults who include gentle preparation are less likely to feel dizzy and more likely to continue exercising without injury. In other words, priming the body helps the practice stick. You might be wondering, how long does this preparation take? The answer is only a few minutes. While waiting for water to boil or for tea to steep, you can circle each ankle 5 times, slowly raise the arms with a breath in, then lower them with a breath out. These little rituals tell the body it is safe to move. They loosen joints, bring more blood to the muscles, and calm the nerves. Let me pause here and ask you, do you already do small warm-up rituals in the morning? Maybe stretching in bed or rotating your shoulders before standing? Share it in the comments. Your habits may inspire someone else who is just starting. And if you have never done them, it is perfectly fine. Today can be your first. There is also an emotional side to this barrier. Many older adults avoid new movements because they are afraid of pain or falling. This hesitation is natural. The good news is that simple preparation reduces this fear. When you feel the ankles loosen, when you feel a deeper breath fill the chest, your mind starts to trust your body again. That trust is powerful. It is the difference between stopping before you begin and actually enjoying the practice. In both Japan and the United States, health studies confirm this. Seniors who start with easy motions are far more likely to stick with their routines than those who jump straight into harder exercises. Success builds slowly, and confidence grows step by step. Here is something worth repeating. Small beginnings are not weakness. They are wisdom. Even if your first day is only 5 minutes of gentle breathing and ankle circles, that is not less than. It is the start of building consistency, which matters more than intensity. So the real prerequisite is not strength, not flexibility, but readiness. Joints that are gently awakened and a mind that feels safe enough to try. Once that barrier is lowered, the 6 daily movements become not only possible but enjoyable. and that is when progress begins to show. Now that the body is ready, we can talk about the 6 daily movements that Japanese elders practice to keep their independence. These are not heavy exercises or complicated drills. They are everyday motions, the kind you can do in your living room, your garden, or even while waiting for tea to steep. Each one trains the body to stay strong, steady, and responsive. The first movement is the sit to stand. It looks simple, rising from a chair and lowering yourself back down, but it is the single most powerful exercise for maintaining independence. It strengthens the thighs, hips, and core all at once. More importantly, it teaches the body how to get up safely, which is a skill many lose with age. If standing fully feels too heavy, use your arms on the chair for support or sit down halfway before returning up. Each attempt is progress, and over time your legs will carry more of the load. The second movement is the heel-to-toe roll. Many falls happen because the feet forget how to roll smoothly across the floor. Standing by a counter for support, rise up on your toes, lower your heels, then gently lift the toes. This wakes up both the calves and the muscles in the front of the shin. You can also practice walking in place, exaggerating the heel strike and toe push. Research shows that strong ankles play a key role in balance. This motion gives the ankles back their voice. The third movement is the hip hinge, which resembles a respectful bow. With knees slightly bent, tip forward from the hips while keeping your back long, then return upright. This movement trains the large muscles at the back of the body to work again, which reduces strain on the lower back and knees. If you have tight hamstrings, keep the hinge shallow. Even small ranges help the brain relearn this vital pattern. The fourth is tandem stance and tandem walking. Place one foot directly in front of the other, heel touching toe, and hold for a few breaths. When that feels steady, try taking a few steps in this narrow line. It challenges the balance system more than standing with feet apart. Practicing this daily helps you feel safer on curbs or uneven paths. If it feels difficult, start with a wider stance and narrow it gradually. The fifth movement is wall slides. Stand with your back against a wall, arms bent at your sides like the letter W. As you inhale, gently slide your arms upward. As you exhale, return them down. This motion opens the chest, strengthens the mid-back, and improves posture. When posture improves, balance improves, because the head is no longer pulling forward. If your shoulders are stiff, keep the range small. The sixth is diaphragmatic breathing, sometimes called belly breathing. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Inhale so the lower hand rises first, then exhale slowly, longer than the inhale. This calms the nervous system, lowers tension, and helps the body coordinate movement. Practicing this before or after the other exercises creates steadiness from the inside out. You may be surprised that such simple actions carry so much weight, but science and experience agree. When practiced daily, these movements change the way older bodies function. Many Japanese elders see them not as exercise, but as part of life, like brushing teeth. Only a small share of people who watch these lessons are subscribed. If this is helping you, subscribing makes it easier for us to keep bringing you practical steps each week. And if you have a favorite of these 6 movements already, share it in the comments. It may become the very one that encourages someone else to begin. Think of these movements as keys. Each one opens a door: strength, balance, posture, or calm. When you combine them, the whole house of your body feels safer to live in. Every body tells its own story. Some stories include stiff joints, past injuries, or health conditions that make certain movements feel different. This is not a reason to give up. It is a reason to adapt. Movements are not one size fits all. The same action that strengthens one person may need adjusting for another. When we honor those differences, we make the practice safer and longer lasting. Let's start with the knees. Many older adults live with arthritis, and deep bends can feel uncomfortable. If rising from a chair feels heavy, try a higher seat or add a cushion. Instead of focusing on how low you go, focus on smoothness and control. Even partial sit-to-stands strengthen the thighs and build confidence. Research shows that consistency matters more than depth, and gentle practice over time reduces pain rather than increases it. For those with osteoporosis, especially in the spine, it is important to avoid rounding the back deeply. The hip hinge is still valuable, but keep the movement shallow, the spine long, and the focus on the hips. This way, you train the strong muscles at the back of the body without risking fragile bones. It is a small adjustment that makes a big difference. Some people also live with balance conditions such as dizziness, neuropathy, or inner ear issues. For you, the tandem stance and walking may feel challenging. That does not mean you should avoid it. Instead, practice near a counter, with fingertips resting lightly for reassurance. Start with a semi-tandem position, one foot slightly ahead of the other, and gradually narrow the stance. Each step, no matter how small, is a victory. There are also those managing blood pressure or heart conditions. If you take medicines that affect heart rate, such as beta blockers, be mindful of breathing. Pair every effort with an exhale and avoid holding the breath. Even in gentle exercise, breath holding can raise pressure. The diaphragmatic breathing we practiced earlier is not just calming, it is protective. Now, here is something worth repeating. Adaptations are not signs of weakness, they are signs of wisdom. Every elder who practices these movements is carrying a lifetime of unique experiences in their body. Adjusting emotion is how you respect that story while still moving forward. Let me share a small success that might sound familiar. A woman in her 70s had avoided sit-to-stands because her knees hurt. She began by standing only halfway, 3 times each morning, with her hands on the chair. Within weeks, she noticed her legs growing stronger and the pain softening. Months later, she could rise fully and walk longer without fatigue. She did not do it by forcing, she did it by adapting. Have you found your own way of making a movement easier or safer? Share it in the comments. Your creative solution could become the key that helps someone else continue. In both Japan and the United States, studies show that elders who keep moving, even with modified routines, do better than those who stop altogether. The body listens to repetition, not perfection. Every practice session tells the muscles and nerves, stay awake, stay strong. This may be the most important message of all. Your routine should feel like it belongs to you, not to a therapist, not to a book, not even to me. If a movement feels unsafe, change it. If it feels helpful, repeat it. That is how you make the 6 daily movements a lifelong companion, not just a short experiment. We have talked about why balance fades, how to prepare the body, the 6 daily movements, and the ways to adapt them. Now, let's bring it all together into something you can live with day by day. The truth is, you don't need a long workout or a complicated schedule. What matters is weaving these movements into your life until they feel as natural as pouring a cup of tea or brushing your teeth. Think about the rhythm of your day. Morning is a gentle place to start. As you sit at the edge of the bed, let yourself take 2 or 3 slow breaths into the belly. That simple act wakes up your nervous system in the calmest way. When you rise from the bed, take it as your first sit-to-stand practice. That one motion counts. If you do it with awareness, you've already begun training before breakfast. As the kettle warms or the coffee brews, hold the counter and practice your heel-to-toe rolls. Lift the heels, lower them, then lift the toes. A handful of these makes your ankles remember their job. While you wait, add a hip hinge or 2. Just a light bow that reminds the large muscles of the hips and back to stay ready. These moments are not extra work. They fit inside the waiting time you already have. Later in the day, perhaps while watching television or waiting for laundry, you can practice a tandem stance. Even a few breaths standing with one foot in front of the other retrains balance in a powerful way. If you feel uncertain, Keep one hand on a sturdy chair. What matters is sending the body the message. Balance is still part of your story. Evening can be the time for wall slides or gentle chest-opening movements. It resets posture after hours of sitting. Pair this with diaphragmatic breathing. A few rounds of slow, deep breaths calm the heart, relax the shoulders, and prepare the body for rest. Many elders in Japan treat this evening practice as both exercise and meditation, a way of closing the day with steadiness. It may sound simple, but here is the key. Small steps done every day are what carry the biggest results. Research in both Japan and America shows that consistency, not intensity, is what keeps elders strong and independent. This is worth hearing twice. The best plan is not the hardest one, it is the one you will keep. So your program is really just your life, with a little more intention. Rising from a chair becomes practice. Waiting for tea becomes practice. Standing in line becomes practice. Bit by bit, these motions add up to something far greater than their parts. Now I'd like to hear from you. Which movement will you begin with today? Will it be the sit to stand, the ankle rolls, or maybe the breathing? Share it in the comments. We read every message, and your choice may give courage to someone who has been waiting to start. What we have built together is not a workout routine. It is a way of living that keeps you strong and balanced. By folding these movements into daily life, you give yourself the best chance to walk with confidence for years to come. We have walked through a simple but powerful journey together. We uncovered how independence slips away not because of age itself, but because daily movement falls silent. We prepared the body with gentle warm-ups. We explored 6 daily movements that Japanese elders trust. We adjusted them for different needs, and we wove them into the natural rhythm of a day. The stakes are high. In every community, far too many elders lose independence after a single fall or a short hospital stay. But decline is not guaranteed. Research across cultures continues to prove that small, repeated actions protect strength and balance. This truth is worth repeating. A few minutes of consistent practice does more for your future than an occasional burst of effort. So let us make this practical. Begin tomorrow morning with one movement, just one. Rise from a chair slowly and with intention, or roll your ankles as the kettle warms. These motions seem ordinary, but each one is a message to your body that you are still training it to serve you well. Over days and weeks, those messages build a body that feels more secure, more balanced, and more confident. Now I ask you one final time to share with us. Which movement will you begin with? And what surprised you most in this lesson? Your reflections help create a community where no one feels alone on this path. Remember this as you go forward. Movement is not about chasing youth. It is about giving yourself the gift of independence for as many years as possible. Each breath, each step, each rise from a chair is a promise you make to your future self. Keep that promise, and your body will thank you.